Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Good to talk to Kyler Beckman of Stover, Missouri, who won the recent American Crappie Trail tournament on the Alabama River. And we're going to kind of switch gears. Really happy to get this young man on with us this morning in kind of a quick FaceTime. And we can always count on some of these folks, Major League Fishing, whatever it might be. If we need a guest and we want somebody timely, there can't be any more timely right now than Alton Jones Jr. because he's coming off a big victory. He won $100,000, which means he has 12 more cousins than he had before the tournament.
Probably more than that.
Well, I'm talking 12 cousins that don't have any money right now. But from Waco, Texas, Alton Jones Jr. Good morning, Alton.
Good morning, Larry. How you doing?
We're doing great. Let's talk about this. 29 years old, the quest. You've done something that's never been done before. You also did something on the final day of the Major League Fishing Toro Stage 2 Pro Tour Tournament. Your dad was on that same day with you. So talk about the experience of notching this first win and your dad there too, trying to beat you. I mean,
yeah, I mean it was a dream day. I look back and I'm still waiting to wake up from that dream. But obviously I grew up around the sport of bass fishing, and
sure. Yeah.
My dad taught me almost everything I know. I've kind of had a front row seat to what it's like to be a bass pro, and as I've pursued my career, he's supported me a lot throughout. Kind of through the whole thing, and he's fishing good right now. I'm fishing good right now, but we've never fished a championship round against each other.
Yeah. So
that was a first ever, and we've always joked ever since I kind of joined the top professional ranks of, hey, someday it's going to be you and me in the final minutes coming down who's going to catch that last fish for $100,000, and we had close to that.
Yes, you did.
Finished fourth.
Yes.
Fourth in that event.
Yeah.
And it was a really special week. I mean, I've always dreamed of getting my first pro win, and what that would be like, and hope that it was in store for me someday. There's a lot of anglers that are really, really good anglers, make lots of championships, lots of top tens, and never get that win. I was just hoping someday that win would be in store for me. So when you add in the fact not only did it happen on Lake Fork in my home state of Texas,
yes,
but that I was competing against my dad, the one who got me into this, taught me how to fish. I mean, I can't even words can't describe what that feels like. It was just like something out of a movie.
Yeah, the emotions. It was almost like Cinderella type. Except if Cinderella would have been there, she would have had much more clothes on than she did in the Disney movie.
She wouldn't have.
Yeah.
She'd have to have a lot more clothes.
Her slipper would have slipped, I can tell you that. So,
yeah.
Because it was brutal, Alton. I mean, this was something that, and if I'm not mistaken, 46 pounds, 2 ounces.
Yeah.
That's.
Were you surprised, Alton, that the fish stayed in your area like they did during that last day under the weather conditions?
It was 30. It was in the 30s, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't snowing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, when we took off that morning, I mean, the dock, the roof of the boathouse we took off from, I mean, had 6-8-inch icicles hanging off the top of it. The trees were coated in ice. I mean, we were coming off the back end of a major ice storm.
Yeah.
So with that, when you're talking wintertime, pre-spawn patterns, one thing, at least in the state of Texas, and this kind of goes true anywhere, but especially in the state of Texas, that ditches make the world go round. And I was fishing shallow in the back of a creek. These fish are back there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to spawn. They're in pre-spawn mode.
Yes.
And as I've come back there, there wasn't a temperature where I thought that they could get kicked out of there. But I knew there was a temperature where they would stop biting. So I was kind of fighting that battle of, there's a big flat. I'm fishing a little narrow ditch.
Yeah.
I knew that this cold water would actually put the fish right where I wanted them. I mean, there's no doubt where they're going to be. But I saw water temps of as low as 42 degrees.
Wow.
That morning.
Wow.
And when you look back to 3 days prior in that same area, it was 59 degrees. So I mean, we're talking close to a 20 degree drop
crazy.
in 3 days.
And
I'm sure if I could.
Go ahead.
I'm sure if I could see what was actually swimming around in there, it probably would have made me sick. But they definitely didn't want to bite.
Yeah.
But if you had just the right cadence and were just patient enough, you could get a few of them to bite.
Now, you were using kind of a special crankbait. You ran out of them that you had.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. You had to borrow something.
So I actually I gotta give a little credit to a good buddy of mine, Jordan Lee. So
yes.
I got onto a crankbait bite in practice, throwing a flat side, and those people that know cold water and flat side crankbaits go hand in hand.
Sure.
However, when you're fishing around heavy cover, flat sides do not come through cover very well. And so I needed a square bill, got a square bill bite going, but then I found a bunch of fish that were too deep for the square bill I was throwing. And that's when I called Jordan Lee and said, "Hey, dude, do you have a square bill that
do you
runs
have
like? Do you have a square bill that runs 6 feet? Because I don't own one that runs that deep." And he said, "Yeah, I've got this kind of square bill." And I said, "Well, can I have one?" He said, "Dude, meet me in the morning." He said, and this is actually the semifinal day.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll open my box. You can take whatever you want." And of course, just like you would expect, I pick one, and he goes, "Oh man, that's one of my custom painted ones."
Yeah.
But I said, "Man, you can have it back." He said, "No, just take it. Just take it."
Wow.
And I said, "I'll bring it back to you when I'm done." And I had to call him after the event and say, "Hey, dude, I'm really sorry, but you're not getting this crankbait back."
No. Again, hey, we're talking to Alton Jones Jr., who won his first Major League Fishing event here on Toro Stage 2 Pro Tour Tournament on Lake Fork. And I will say that last hour, I've read a lot of things you talked about that, Alton, that last hour, you said it was nerve-wracking. It was kind of all of blur. I was nervous. My casts weren't as good as they were, and I was fishing faster than I should be. And then all of a sudden, you got to calm and say a little prayer. Talk about that last hour.
Yeah, going into that final hour, which was the last period,
yes.
I've had 3 second places in the last 2 years.
Yes, you have.
That's
on
right.
Major League Fishing.
Yeah.
And so I had been in a scenario very similar to that before, and I from what I've seen, when it's your time, it's your time. God's timing is perfect, and
that's right.
I said a little prayer to myself, and of course I wanted to win. But, I didn't pray for a bunch of big fish or pray to win.
Not to be stressed.
To enjoy the moment, not to be stressed, and to just not take it for granted, being put in this position and that I would be, no matter what happened, be able to give God the glory. And,
well, you did.
I was very, very fortunate that it all worked out. And I'd be lying to tell you if it wasn't stressful. I think that
Alton,
helped
you talk about that stress. What causes a lot of that stress is you have a recorder there that's telling you what's going on,
no
who's coming up.
Here.
There are no secrets. You know somebody is catching them, and they're right behind you. That causes a lot of stress. People, tell our listeners, how do they kind of keep you up with the time and the weights of the other people, especially ones that are close?
Yeah, so we have an official in our boats.
Right.
Everything we do is catch, weigh, release.
Yes. Yeah.
And with that, we have a score tracker, just like you would see a pole position in NASCAR.
Yeah.
And as I'm sitting there in first place, I knew Dakota Ebert was in second.
Yes, he was.
Jacob
Wheeler was right in there too.
Yeah.
Jacob Wheeler was right there. And to give you just a picture of what I experienced in that final period, I started that final period with a 12-pound lead, which is a huge lead. I mean,
yes,
in the grand scheme of things, it is. And Dakota, to start within the first 5 minutes of the second period, the guy catches like a heavy 5 and a heavy 6-pounder and leaps me.
Yes.
And so I'm getting these updates, and he says, "Hey, Dakota caught one. He's 5 pounds behind you. Oh wait, Dakota caught another one. He's 2 pounds ahead of you."
That's amazing. That's how much pressure.
And that's when I was calm, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, it's game time. It's never going to be easy.
Well, that's what Major League Fishing's about, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, that's what it's all about.
It's 101.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, and to do what you did is pretty amazing. The reception you received, Alton, I've read it on Facebook. I've read all these people congratulating you. They know that you have paid the price. I know your dad, your family was happy, but the other guys have really, boy, I tell you what, I don't know if you owe money or what, but you have, these guys are, so what did it mean to you to win that thing and for your career?
It meant so much, man. I just, it's just a dream come true. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It's something that I've always dreamed of. If anybody watched it live, I did get emotional. I shed some tears when it was all said and done.
Yes.
And then one of the things that really meant a lot to me was just to see the congratulations from my peers, see that they truly were happy for me.
Yes.
And then to hear the guys that were pulling for me, when guys like Wheeler or KVD or Jordan Lee or, any of those guys shoot you a text, it just like, they're all people you look up to. And so
who wouldn't like to get a text from some of those guys someday instead of somebody that you owed money to or a scammer something with that? Well, we really appreciate it for you taking time on this Saturday morning to be with us. And it's on, I guess, now. What's next before we let you go?
Red Crest Cup.
Yep.
That's it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Red Crest. It's the big show.
Yep. You got a big old target on your back now. So go for it, buddy. We appreciate you, and we'll have you back on again on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Proud of you, and I know all your fans here in the Memphis area are too. So I don't believe in luck, Alton. Just go get them, okay?
Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you for having me on.
All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back, and we'll talk a little. You've been talking waterfowl over there.
Yeah, I love fishing, but...
All right, get ready. It's coming for you.
You're a fisherman.
We'll be right back. Okay.